afternoon and welcome to another Kerfuffle panel show. And I am particularly excited today because I have the Tango Pig with me. Mr. Adam, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Simon. Yeah, all good. I say not quite as orange as I normally am, but hey ho, that's lockdown. You've frozen, Simon. You've actually frozen. That's hysterical.
This is the organiser's tech.
Oh, no. Yeah. Hello? Hello? What's going on there? Okay, I don't know what that was. Can you hear me okay now?
We can.
Good. Yes. No, sorry. I said you were a bit more uplifted off camera, but that's probably because obviously, we were talking about obviously your tan not being in its where it needs to be, but it's locked down. So what can you do? We've got David here and Morris. Hello, the pair of you, Liberty Gate and Stockport's finest, and runner-up in the league last year. Morris,
I thought we were going to talk football, but.
Man, we don't have to. I'm not a bullying man, guys. I'm really pleased today. I do love these panel shows, and today is as we'd expect. It's uncertain times. What can Open Bricks do for agents? And I think that's a really exciting kind of point now, considering obviously there is so much upheaval, a lot of questions going on. So let me start with you, Adam, to start off with. Given these obviously, these worrying times, as the CEO, do you think you know what an agent needs?
Well, I hope so, because I was one for 28 years. And right at the coalface, had my own independent agency. Started with one branch, and then I grew it up to 4 and sold at 3. But yeah, I do, and I remember going back to the days pre-portals when, it was a rush to get your copy down to the local newspaper with your Kodak photos and your copy, which they'd invariably get mixed up. And, and your selling times were just Thursday to the Saturday, and that was it. And you couldn't afford to go in all the magazines and papers you wanted to go in. So it's really transition. It was so expensive, and then when the portals came in, it was great it was really good. And listen, they proved themselves, but I just think time has moved on. The cost has just gone up ridiculously. The control has got too much, and at the end of the day, I think it has. And I'm saying this now because I'm here to support agents, but I think it's made all agents just a little bit lazy. We put all our trust into a portal or 2 because that's what we can afford, and I think that's the evolution of portals now. And the new lot are coming through with loads of new stuff. And we started building 2.5 years ago. So I always knew we couldn't just be a listing only portal, and all the new challengers agree with that. As you know, we speak regularly, but I think there has to be a move away from an agent's perspective of just putting your property on a portal and sitting back. And I actually think lockdown has forced a rethink. Agents are looking to collaborate together. They're looking for better tech solutions now. And we've massively moved on in the last 9 months, I think. I don't know if the guys do agree. But.
There does seem to be a shift, doesn't there? What about you guys? Do you think that's it's not? It doesn't feel to me like it's just a quick amendment based around the lockdown. Clearly, that did happen. It does feel like we've moved into and accelerated into a very different space.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed that. Just the discussions between agents. That never used to happen on the scale that it does now. And you've seen a lot more collaboration now, which is great.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you're part of the group, aren't you, David? We should probably help explain in terms of obviously together with loads of other agents there. There really is a spirit of willing there, isn't there? Like never before. Over the years there have been various attempts to work together, and it all tends to break down. But for whatever reason, this time round, it's not splitting, is it? It's not breaking down in the way that it has in the past.
No, and I think part of that was probably driven by the circumstances of lockdown. The way that had to make people rethink about what the future might be. But then at the same time, I think we're starting to get a much more entrepreneurial generation of estate agency coming through who are looking at the existing model and thinking, are there better ways to do it?
Yeah.
Do we to carry on doing it the way we always have done, where margins are tight and, things aren't necessarily working the way we want to.
Yeah. But we don't have to wait for all those young bucks, all these tech-savvy ones, because it proves here an old horse can learn new tricks. That's probably a bit unkind, Maurice, but as a man who loves his technology without being, I think, a slave to the technology, what does it mean to you at the moment? What are you seeing in your patch, the way that agents are at least liaising with each other before we look at with the wider market?
Funnily, and I hope there's none of them. Well, I do hope they're watching, but I don't think there is a great deal of collaboration here. I don't see it. I see it more nationally because of the groups that I'm in.
Yeah,
with people like David and Adam, and obviously the various groups that you're involved with, Simon. There are certain areas where I think agents are certainly more receptive to the idea of collaboration and working together. Some areas maybe less so. But I think it's absolutely the right way forward. I think we've always been too protective of our own little patch and what we do. It's been very sort of localized, but there's got to be better ways. And I think some of the things that are happening now are definitely right. It's with Adam and OpenBricks is one of the ones I think has brought that about. And I think, as David said, the situation that we found ourselves in March, April was totally unique. It brought people together, and Rightmove put the foot in it straight away, which galvanized a movement. I know they quickly backtracked, but it did galvanize the industry like I've never seen it, and I've been in it 30 years. I know I don't look old enough, but just over 30 years this year.
Oh, I'm only 24. Look how well
it takes its toll on you.
I meant stone, by the way, but anyway. So I get your point there, Maurice, in terms of it. Obviously we're not in some big Corbynistic sort of group. You're not popping down the pub with Colin Mellor and spilling all your secrets, are you?
Oh my God, what a thought!
But I think it is. Do you think it was that literally the tipping point? Because I'm a bit mixed about that whole Rightmove thing. I mean, I do. I mean, it's certainly obviously the initial thing. It galvanised and pushed people when actually all the chips were down. It's like you couldn't have made a kind of worse. If we're honest, made a worse decision. On the other hand, and as I said, I have as many different faces as I have chins. I think, they did come back with a stellar deal, to be honest, and I know it's kept obviously rolling on and on. So I can't figure out whether, the right or wrong, whether they should have been forgiven. I mean, let's be honest, David, there's a lot of people that really wanted to punish Rightmove, didn't they? And still do. I think that it's fair to say there was a lot more that just wanted a sensible deal and still want to get a sensible deal in terms of there. But do you think that was really the kind of the thing that pushed people over the edge, was that response and the way they delivered it?
I think, like Maurice said, it galvanised an already kind of underlying feeling towards Rightmove, that they tended to have a bit of arrogance about their attitude towards the industry, and that initial deal kind of just amplified that even more. So as much as they backtracked and changed and came back with something that really did help the industry, you kind of can't get over the fact that their initial response was to protect themselves and not, their clients. Yeah. So I think that is a hard thing for them to kind of get over now. And they've got to kind of come back now with something to say, how do we help agents with the future? Because let's face it, it's going to get rocky. And what they do next is really going to dictate how it happens.
It's not just for Manana, is it? It's this is a challenging period here, and a lot of people would say. Anyway, I always liken it to the fact that when the missus gets a bunch of flowers, it's invariably because I've done something heinous. If I'd done them without proactively doing something wrong, that would have been lovely. I think, look, it's really important. I am balanced, and I have loads of respect in many ways for what Rightmove has done. So putting my cards on the table there, and I think you may have seen that initial podcast that me and David Mintz did. He found some research that did show around the world. I think in terms of actual money saving, the Rightmove saving was one of the largest ones. In fact, it was the largest one we could find across the board there. But anyway, that we're not here to talk about that. But it's important, I think, isn't it? it, to state the state of play as to why this has happened and everything else out there. I think a far bigger issue, really, and indeed what the White Saw is so excited talking to the Tango Pig, is about what the state of play was with originally the duopoly, potentially the triopoly, or whatever it is, in terms of the situation that created this level of innovation that the likes of OpenBricks and some of the other portals felt was necessary to create, to deliver innovation.
Yeah, I mean, look, we started building this 3 years ago. So OpenBricks, it wasn't something that came out of the pandemic. We started this in 2017. I got on board in 2018, and it's been a very long 2 years. But it was only up until probably January, February of this year when we were building the portal. That was what it was going to be, a listing portal. Is it? There you go. You've disappeared again.
I don't know whether I haven't paid my broadband bill or something. But anyway, let me. This is where I get my revenge and say, if anyone's thinking of Virgin Broadband, there's. I'm going to put them up on the Kerfuffle website in a second myself and do it. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. No, you were talking, Adam.
Yeah, so it was only around January, February this year that we pivoted, because what we realized with the blockchain is the fact that it identifies the property, the consumer, and the agent. Specifically, all three are very specifically identified. And then it was just a matter of, and the understanding that this now becomes like a WhatsApp group between the three parties, effectively.
Yeah.
And of course, you think, well, you can add other people. And it was at that point that I suddenly thought, well, hang on a moment. I know some of the partnership deals that some of the corporates get are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very good. Better than an independent can get. So I just thought, well, why don't I go farming round, speak to these guys, onboard them as a partner, and then for agents to select them. And because of the blockchain, when an agent adds a new partner or supplier, it's all integrated. So it becomes very easy to use. And then all of these referral deals, and we're all about transparency. So one of the screens I'll ask you to show in a minute, it shows the breakdown product by product. So all of that is transparent. But effectively, agents can start earning the types of deal that the big boys get. And so if you're one office, you can get the same deals. But here's the good bit. These offers are out there in various forms with various entities. But where we differ from everybody, and I mean everybody, we give 100% of that commission to the agents. We don't take a cut. And we're very transparent about that. And we've had some partners, and I'm going to say who they are, who've actually said, look, we love the idea, but we're not going to join you. And we've gone, okay, why? Knowing why. And that's because, well, some of these other people offer far better deals than we do. Yeah. And I'm going, yeah, it does.
Well, thanks for not mentioning Kerfuffle there explicitly.
but here's the good bit. So it starts to create competition between all these offerings, and then now begin to think, wow, we better up our game. And the second best bit is that this time with us, the partners do the work, and it's the agents that get to police the partners, not the other way around. Yeah. So if you're seeing your products being bought, or rather not being bought, the ones you've selected from a certain entity and they're not being purchased, you can turn around and say, do you know what? I'm going to take this product off now. I'm going to pull in another product from another entity. So an agent goes on, can shop for what products they want. They don't want. I mean, I think it'd be a bit stupid for an agent to put on every single product we've got, and we've got 20 as of today. We should have about 26 by the end of the month. But you wouldn't want to put them all on, because some of them are competitive, and some of them don't offer any commission but offer discounts to the end user. Vaboo, for example, great product. Agents can buy that, and it's a great. So it's not all about making the most money, but what it does do is it allows the agents now to get the partners working for them, and that would be because in my day when we did a deal with Virgin, for example, we'd be sold it. We'd be selling it, and then the representative would be saying, well, look, you haven't sold too many this month. And it's like, oh, really? Wow, I've got enough to do. So we've really pivoted and turned that round. And I don't know if you've got any of those screens there, Simon. I don't know if the guy.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Look, so let's There you go.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I'll just run through this. This is what the consumer will see. Actually, it's
Yeah.
been improved since this, but they get to have a rent record. They get to see details of their property that they've rented or bought. They can, when they get paired with the property at offer stage, they can choose what partners they want. It's all GDPR compliant. They can say they want Sky. They say they want Scottish Power. They can have that. They can choose whatever entities and financial services and broadband and internets that they want, and it shows up on their screen here. And you know, from the rental side, one thing uniquely, the end consumer gets not only their own unique ID, which is on the blockchain, therefore it's not owned by Apple or Google or anyone else, and people can share the documents from the consumer directly to Maurice and David, for example, and they can share at a granular level what information that is. They can do their right to rent, they can share their passport, their contract of employment, their rent record, but it doesn't get hung up and stored on some overarching central entity that's going to hoover up all the data. We don't even get to see it, which is pretty weird.
That's incredible, isn't it? It's a credible benefit there. We're talking about a brand new age, and look, as I say to you every single time, blockchain obviously is, everyone's heard the name, but actually in terms of talking about the relevance, that's very different, and that's one very key thing there, isn't it? Apple at the moment are really going out of their way, aren't they, to have a little pop at Google and everyone else there talking about that privacy element there. But you know, I still think it's a little bit rich from those guys, because it's not hard coded in the way that blockchain is for you, is it?
Well, that's exactly the point. In fact, we've got the Android app, no problem. We've got the web app, which is all fully functional. But it's the iOS app, the Apple app, which we're having problems with, because they're saying, actually, these guys are our customers. We don't like the fact that you're sharing data, albeit with consent, and we're not getting a look at it. They don't like the fact that you know, because when you download an app, anybody on that app, anybody using that is an Apple customer, not an OpenBricks customer.
No.
So they're having a problem with it. We're working with them. It should be through in a couple of weeks, or 3 or 4 weeks time, probably at most. But you know, they're saying this is kind of weird, and they're taking their time, because they don't.
If you need any help there, me and Tim, we're like that. So you just let me know, and I'll apply the pressure from my side. That's cool. Yeah. Is that a slide? Did you want to have a look at any of the others?
What's the next slide you got?
Let's have a look here. So the dashboard here.
That's useful. So this is what the agents get to see. I've given some narrative down on the side.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants a copy of this, by the way, they just have to get in contact with us. We'll send it to them, or we'll give them a talk through. I'll talk about that at the end. But basically, this is obviously one we've been using on our test site, but it gives the name of Shahad Chowdhury, which is our tech lead, as the agent. So ignore that. But you'll see on that box on the right being a commission counter, and you can click on that, and it would take you through, I think, to the next screen.
Yep. Okay. Let me just go through to that. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And they get to choose their marketplace. This is where they select all their partners, and it's a scroll down screen. You can take Sky or left.
Okay. Yeah.
This next one, how much revenue is being earned? If you go to that one, so this is the breakdown. So when they click on that count on the top right hand corner of the previous one, it breaks down to product by product what the income is. And then furthermore, clicking on that, you get literally a product by product by which entity is earning, you know, it clicks you through to the entity's breakdown, and you can see all the commissions there and what property, what consumer bought what product and what commission you're getting.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. And then that's the phone, and then there's MLS. We'll probably come on to that later on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So yeah, I mean, it's for you know, Maurice was very, very straight to the point with me when I had a chat with him a few months ago. He was saying, look, I don't really get the portal, I don't really get the blockchain thing, but look, I do get this partnership. Talk to me about the money. How does it work? And and it's great to get this sort of feedback. And you know, as an agent, the bit I would be interested in right now is what revenues can I earn. I'm being brutally honest. So we pivoted back in February to bring this out. So you know, much before beginning of February, we hadn't even thought of this. So we've really motored it through. And it's funny now that, you know, one or two other of the new portals are trying quickly to catch up. But even they, I'm not going to mention, be drawn on who they are. You know who they are.
Property Pac-Man. Come on, answer the question.
No, I won't. But you can guess. But the thing is, they're not giving all the commissions. They're taking a decent 40%.
So yeah, it's not. I hope obviously if Morris has put all this work in, some of the IPs it'd be horrible to think that he's not getting a massive share of this. My question here was I was given this question, Morris, just a second. He said it was to ask how long you've been an agent, and that we know that's when chicken used to taste like chicken. So we've dealt with that one. We've mentioned you're Stockport's finest, aren't you? So you're obviously one of the strongest independent agents I know not just in the area, around the country there. And then to tee it up there, it was what attracted you to Open Bricks. And there's been a few clues over the previous minute.
Let me have a think. I think what's really important, if there are agents watching, and this is the crux, I think, and really important, is that I see Open Bricks as not another portal.
Okay.
Because I think that's really important for people for agents in particular, not to think, oh, Christ, it's just another portal. We've got more than enough portals. We don't need another one. And I think that's a very short-sighted view from an agency point of view because of the things that we're talking about. You have the blockchain, you have the protection of that. But from an agency point of view, that appealed to me was when we started talking to Adam was, well, we're doing all these partnerships and you will be getting 100% of the commission that you make on the product sales. So straight away, you're thinking, well, you can put your tenants on here, you can put your applicants, you can put whoever you want into the system. And there's a potential monetary benefit from these customers that you don't have as a rule of thumb from these various clients. So that was the real attraction. The portal, fine. It's a good portal. It's very attractive. I think it's very well put together. Yeah. But from an agent's point of view, it's the back end stuff that really caught my eye. And I think that's the real massive selling plus for any agent who's thinking, well, why should I go to Open Bricks? There are various other things that we're going to discuss today, but that's a really important differentiator, I think.
That was the USP, yeah. I think it's one of the things I've noticed talking to the agents over years is agents obviously know that there's a lot of money to be made from third parties, referrals and everything else. But it's always one of those spinning plates waiting to be delivered because actually as a smaller independent agent, you're getting on and just working who has the time, energy to explore many of those ones.
Exactly.
What I think about tie-ups like this is Adam and his team can develop and nurture those relationships and give you the ability to actually do that without you breaking, Morris, from your day-to-day business of obviously, making obviously Kilbride's the best one of the best agents in the area. And in fact, I've just on that subject, Michelle's just jumped in with. I've seen Morris's agency since I was a small child. He's very well known and a very good agent. There you are. So look, I promise.
Hey, Michelle.
Yes. Thanks for typing that out there, Morris. No, it wasn't you. It wasn't. I would just say is that you're in a bit of trouble, actually, Adam. I don't know what did happen to his invite, but Murray's. He's not happy. Shall I just explain that it was? We were limiting this to about 45 minutes to an hour, and if Murray was on, it would have been a 3-hour show.
Actually, I should mention Murray as well because these guys have been great. Murray's been as great with the feedback as well. If I was allowed another person, Murray, you would definitely been on it.
You can blame it down to the fact that my fat head fills most of the screen. So sorry, it was that you were that was the thing there. And Morris, just again, what else do you think it's going to bring to Kilbride? What's it going to do for your actual clients?
Well, I think that the benefits of being able to shop around and get your other products that are available, your insurances, your TV, your broadband, all these sort of things. Everybody's looking at cost now. It's been a tough year for everybody, and cost is really important. So if you can shop around in one place and you can find the best deals that are on offer, I think that's really important for your clients. And I think Adam touched on it before, and I can say hand on heart that I would offer the best products even if there was nothing in it for me.
Yeah.
If it's the right product for the client, that's important. And it's because, you know, you don't want them just to think, oh, they're just offering this because they're making a few quid on it. If there are products out there that will benefit the client, offer a really good product at a competitive rate, even if we don't get anything on that particular product, fine. You know, it's what's going to be working for the client, and that's where I see the benefit.
Okay, and I mentioned before, you know, in terms of there's lots of work. Is it true that, you know, you are able to get this revenue for doing relatively little effort, essentially there?
Well, that's what Adam tells me, so I believe what he tells me. No, absolutely, because it's all in one place, and I think you touched on it, Simon. You know we can get insurance products from our various suppliers of rent guarantees and things like this, but I don't know what the hell they're doing half the time. You don't see it.
Yeah.
You just don't see it. They'll say, we'll go and deal with it for you, and you never hear anything. Whether they've done it or they haven't, you may eventually get a little bit of something, but it's not very well managed, and you're having to go chasing it. And like you say, when we're busy, haven't got a lot of time, it's far easier to know you can jump on the portal here, you've got your dashboard, and you can see what's happening in real time.
Well, you see it in any normal agency as well, though, don't Maurice? You know, where you quite often, let's face it, the two main revenue streams normally, okay, this month we're going to have a focus on conveyancing, and FS goes down like that. Then like whack-a-mole, you say the next month we're going to focus on the, you know, mortgages there, and conveyancing comes off. To try and then layer in things like utilities and everything else on the back of it, for your negs in the front office, it's like, well, look, you know, which one do you want me to look at?
Absolutely, you just raise their eyes when you talk about all these things. You're putting more and more pressure on them to do more and more, and really, they're not insurance salesmen or TV products and things like that. That's not what they are. So, if we can take that away, but know it's still there and being dealt with, I think there's a lot to be said for that.
I would jump in actually. Also, we see our responsibility here at Openbricks is to manage those partnerships as well. So if we start getting feedback from agents to say, look, we're not very happy with this product, and we're not saying no to any product or any entities they want to join, they can join, because it's about transparency. But we want to help them. So some have joined and they didn't look very good on our site. And it's, you know, just badly put together and badly worded. And so we went back and helped them and say, actually, look, let's make you look a bit better. We want to manage it. So if the agents start giving us feedback that a product or one offering is really not up to scratch, you know, I want to know about it, and I'll go and deal with it. Our job is to manage these relationships for the agents. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean,
let's make it really interesting, and maybe it's putting you on the spot a bit unfairly, but what are the sorts of extra revenue referral fees that might be available for one office agent? Because I think that, let's get to the crux of it. That's what people are going to be asking, isn't it?
Well, listen, first of all, I have got some figures, but I've had to base it because there's wide selections of property, different values. So the commissions will vary depending on property price, rental price, how many occupants so it's very difficult to give you, but we worked out an average based on the UK average house price and the average UK letting, and the average take up based on about 3 or 4 of the larger tenant offerings, because I can't go and transfer. And we've got 20 on board now. I can give you some names later, but if we've got time, but it roughly works out to potentially, and this is an average, £835 per sale and £540 per let.
Wow.
That's quite a lot of money. So if you're
very punchy,
it is a lot, because don't forget, and the other interesting point here, which I haven't factored in here, is that every single one of our partners, and they don't say this to the corporates directly, they say quite the opposite. What they've said to us is, we will do more sales than the agents do, because we know what we're doing. We're going to push
the specialisation point again, isn't it? You know, as Maurice said, you took it to a negotiator, his heart's not in it, the knowledge isn't there. You're not going to get the throughput of conversion, are you, that you would expect elsewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting, but just to run through, we've got we've got people who are some are on board and some are will be onboarded before the end of November. We've got, in no particular order, we've got Matterport, 360 Tour, the Partnership, Moving Hub, Deposit Pass, Just Move In, Stitch, Revo 360, Offer, hopefully, Assessment Hive, Gazelle, Your Tour, Callwell, Please Connect Me, Yoti, Inventory Base, Lettings Hub, Credit Ladder, Verboo, Sky, Product Care, and we hope to be onboarding Let Alliance soon. We've got Breeze Move, Sort Style, and loads more that we will be working with.
You know what I was just getting pleased about there. That's going to be what's it? I'm going to be hashtag catnip. That is, we're going to absolutely hashtag every one of those. It's going to go absolutely viral. That's really. I mean, you've got some massive names in there, some really forward-thinking companies. Look, I was just talking to Jonathan from Verboo there. Absolutely, what they're on about. Stitch on the WhatsApp side of things, incredible. You know, we can't go through all of those there, but that's a really impressive. It is. No, it's really that. Now, let me get into my Pax Manessa over here. So, okay, you mentioned other portals who famously, obviously, are making a referral fee out of this. I like the way you took off your glasses there, by the way. That was very, very if I was a body language expert, I'd say you were getting nervous. But no, what is OpenBricks policy on this in terms of do you take referral income? Which, by the way, you know, I think if you're open and honest about it, there's not an issue there. But what's your approach on that?
We take zero referral income. Every penny goes directly to the agent. There are a couple of partnerships we have where they're now set up to do that, so it does come to us. But we've already announced what the fee will be, so it's obvious they will get all of that.
That's really good.
We get our fee.
No way that the Puffle can take a little clip of that somewhere, but you know, we'll facilitate it. We'll just take a little bit for Whaley's Amaretto Fund. Anyway, that's really good, Adam. I mean, that's, you know, giving as much back as you can to the agents is putting your money where your mouth is ultimately.
Yeah.
Okay, again, let's talk about one of the elephants in the room. You know, without the millions that obviously some of the others have and a really pricey TV campaign, how are you going to get those all vital, you know, those vital leads obviously through to the agents themselves?
Okay, it's a very good question because, you know, we don't have the 30 million needed to do a TV advertising campaign. And actually, if I had it, I probably wouldn't do it anyway. I think there's other ways of doing it, but it's not an option anyway. So how are we going to do it? Well, we are saying, look, guys, we have actually genuinely built this for you to earn money, and you will end up controlling it because the way the blockchain works. We don't control it already. We couldn't even collapse this right now. We wanted to spit our dummy and walk away. We can't take the portal with us. It's there. It's on a public community blockchain. So we're asking for the agents to do exactly what Maurice has just indicated by, you know, put your leads on there. Once you get an offer, pair them with the property, put your back end on, put the all your managed tenancies, maximize everything, and you know those consumers get the benefits, so they get ongoing benefits as well. And we feel the portal will build up in time, and it depends on the take up. Look, if we were to get say in a perfect world, we end up with 40, albeit an equal share. 40% of the market, the portal market. We've got that. 40% of the agencies on there. Within 12 months, we would have all the consumer eyeballs we need. So it's a question of, look, we'll generate the income from you guys by pairing the end user. You're strengthening the portal, so the portal element will come. It will. But we're gonna grow. We've got plans for early 2021, financial plans. We're going to build this up. We've got a marketing campaign. We're using a lot of social media. Yeah, we're even using places like Kerfuffle. You know, we want to get our name out there, and we want the agents to support us. We make no bones about it because, you know, without the agent support, there's not a single portal that will ever work. We've only worked because the agent supported it.
Famously, we all forget it now. Didn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't. So, and the other things which we're talking about, which has been more sort of David's baby, really, was the MLS. I don't know if you want to bring David in on this because this was very much his
absolutely.
idea.
Well, I was going to say it was a bit unkind considering Maurice has been just dominating everything as he always, just like on Twitter, he owns it there. But yeah, Murray again, not to be outdone. He said David is the talker apparently. So yeah. we'll give you a platform here. So, what is it about the MLS side of things that excites you, that interests you, then, David?
I just think it started with the conversations in the Facebook groups where people really started resonating with the concept of an MLS, and that with more agents collaborating and looking at ways of evolving, it just became an option, I think. And that's when I sort of had a chat with Adam, looked at the infrastructure of the blockchain and how that could facilitate something like that. And then it kind of grew from there, really, where it's grown into what it has now. And I'm genuinely excited about getting up and running and doing it. And I've spoken to a number of agents in our local area, and we're already starting to collaborate on deals and effectively do the MLS, but without a platform to facilitate it yet. But I just think it's you see elements of the MLS already working with Lonrez and other.
I was going to say, Dave, just so people, for anyone that doesn't get that element there, obviously, people saying, why doesn't it work in this country? Well, Lonrez has been proving in central London for many years that the concept does, to a lesser degree, maybe. Obviously, Team was huge, wasn't it, across the south for many, many years. But people have been looking at the likes of, let's be honest, the States primarily, isn't it? And it is just that ability to essentially multi-list across different, across the portal, collaborating with other agents, isn't it, to get the biggest possible exposure? Ergo, what Adam was saying before, if you're doing the best thing for your clients, you're going to get the best result anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's about opening up the market. It's saying, rather than the way we've operated up until now, where agents cling on to their own listings and they get very protective over it, and until they're out of contract, does the market kind of open up for that particular property? Now you've got an opportunity where you have the widest possible exposure, and whether that's agents in your local area, nationally, or even worldwide. And I think, Adam will even say that there's so many agents from overseas now who are really excited of the prospect of being able to work with UK agents. So
I couldn't believe when we opened in Australia. We share a loose, tenuous common language. They do destroy any real part of the Queen's English they can do. I couldn't believe, though, given what an absolutely strong and dominant position we had at the time in terms of the UK market, how few and how little collaboration went on. I mean, I know they're on the other side there, but there is a lot of traffic back and forth. And you look at it out there, what do they call it? The Spriff guys would call it data lakes. They are all still absolutely separate at the moment, aren't they, in that they don't work together. Now, let's not pretend that this is going to be like, the majority of the traffic or anything like it. But there's no doubt at all in this globalized world that there's got to be a valuable sort of and growing importance from working together on that basis.
Yeah. I mean, to jump in here, we've David alluded that we've about overseas agents, and we've had a lot of overseas interest, and I say interest, I mean overseas agents are saying, when can we sign up, because they want to be able to sell UK property, and they've got buyers, and it would be I had one agent turned around to me and said, this is like the UK's open for business for the first time ever. From that perspective, so it is good. And the point about the MLS, and this is what David was really helpful with, because we worked with we're looking at some MLSs in Canada, and we looked at some in Europe, in America, and some in Europe. What works over there wouldn't work here. So we've come up, and very much with David's help on this, a very quintessentially British version of an MLS. So people think, I don't want to share property with everybody.
I don't want to take what the Yanks are doing. I want to see a proper look. We didn't vote to get out, so that we suddenly then, let's keep it British. Go on then, tell me how we're making it work.
But it's so when you join the MLS, if you were there, you don't have to put any of your property on. You can fish on other properties and claim other properties. But if you do want to put a property on, you can put on as many or as little properties as you like, and it doesn't have to go to the whole UK MLS. You can set up your own networks with, as David said, with us sort of 6 or 7 local agents, and then you can have another network of county agents. And sure, if you're getting desperate, it's the last week of your contract, by all means, stick it on the whole of the MLS. But it gives the agents the control, say who it goes to and where they can market, and where they can market it. So commissions.
I'm just checking some legal terms here because I was, as I said, I was there. I remember going back long res many years ago, and I think it's certainly not true now. One of the frustrations was with Central London that there was what they unkindly called the established firms called bottom feeders who never put on listings onto it. They just jumped on top and perceived to just kind of be hanging on, and that was just a one size fits all. I believe they did change it in the end to enable exactly what you spoke about. If you have that relationship that you work closely with, to be able to have that is a fantastic asset. Knowing that they share the same values, customer service, everything else on top of it is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm just going to ask David a question here because I know you've got one's quite luxury, lovely property at the moment, Liberty Gates Marketing, that does look absolutely superb. On for just short of 5 million, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
down there, isn't it?
All of Nottingham. No, I'm kidding. But it something like that. It's a very unusual property. So, and as I think David, you've alluded to this, you feel that I reckon you're the one who's going to sell this, but you're probably going to end up selling it or collaborating with someone else.
Yeah.
And if you were to just leave that within your own network, you probably wouldn't sell it.
No.
But I mean, you haven't sold it yet, but you're odds on. You're odds on to sell it.
And part of that strategy with that property was, trying to find somebody that can afford a £5 million home in the middle of a pandemic in Nottinghamshire is like a needle in a haystack. So for me, it's about, right, how do I get the maximum exposure for that property in the right places, whether that's London, whether it's across the UK, even worldwide to a degree, because it's an incredible property that attracts people's attention. And all I need is somebody to go, oh, this might be of interest to so-and-so, or I know somebody that's in the market, and that's everything has been thrown at that, from picking up the phone, speaking to other agents, doing a YouTube video, because it's about getting eyeballs on it, and then widening that net. And no doubt about it, that would be one of the properties I would throw on the MLS straight away. Right. And because there's an attractive big fee involved in that I can clearly say to other agents, look, there's a hefty fee for you here if you introduce a buyer, because ultimately we need to get the deal done for the vendor. And I in essence don't care where the buyer comes from.
Yeah.
Just,
it's widening that net and allowing everybody to have the opportunity to see it.
Yeah. I think it's got, and we're just, I mean, it's been tested and tested. What we're doing now is just doing the tutorial that goes with it. So that really will be ready now within a couple of weeks, ready to go. It's not great timing, just before Christmas, but there's no rush. But agents can start putting their property on. And you know what? If they want to join and not put any properties on, they can do that. They're likely they'll pay a little bit more if they're not going to subscribe to put any property on. Even by putting one on brings the price down quite a bit. So £55 a month.
I mean, one of the things you notice is why did half commission long res work in London? And it was on the whole, wasn't it? It was that kind of prime, super prime marketplace. Finding the buyers is absolutely critical and is difficult at the best of times, and that explains why you have to go out to the widest possible thing. But look, we're fairly lucky at the moment, as we said. I think we reported last month, buyers are 14% up year on year. So we're in that wonderful period where, but you don't have to go back too far, do you? Where actually that just goes back completely the other way. So why would you not use every tool in your kit bag to get it out to the audience, to that one person who might want it? And
it also opens up completely different revenue where you can work for buyers now. So when you've got a buyer registered on your system who you haven't got the property that fits them, you can then clearly search the MLS, look at other properties that might fit it, and then instantly you've got a potential revenue stream from properties that you're not primarily listing, but you're able to introduce a buyer that's sort of come to you. So that really excites me, that now you've got buyers sat on your database who you're not able to sell to right now, but then you will be able to with the MLS.
Got that. And David, look, you've been referred to as one of the four horsemen of the portal debate. We had the other one of the other ones on before. He said he's had to nip off. Pleasure. Very few can say they kept me stunned for so long. I think that is, we deserve an honour there. But and of course you've gained massive support obviously within your groups and the affiliated groups, and are obviously accredited with saving obviously the agents a huge amount of money. What is it that has attracted you in particular and those agents to the likes of Openbricks?
I mean, firstly, Adam himself, because as an ex-estate agent, a great, genuine, transparent guy, he's come at the whole portal space in a completely different way. He's clearly coming in from an angle of adding value to what we do as agents, looking at how we can earn extra revenues, how we can add additional layers to what we provide as a service. Yeah. That really resonated to me, as well as the referral network and the fact that you can earn extra revenues. It was the fact that, he really opened up to the idea of, the MLS, it can work, but what it needs is the right platform, the right infrastructure. And by leveraging the blockchain, which I really think is a big differentiator above all the other portals, because that does really secure everything we do on that platform. That means it can't, the data can't be sold. It's our data. We control it. And that really did resonate with me in terms of being a platform for the MLS.
Yeah, so that's a key thing, is it? Whereas others are talking and getting commitments that this data is their own, won't be sold on, everything else. There's nothing Adam can do about it. As I kind of reacted with horror, didn't I, Adam, when you told me that on the first showcase, that you've instantly created this baby, and then you've said, here you go, you guys own this as much as we do.
Yeah, that's the tech. So it's one of the questions I get sort of all gets muted at me is how can we trust you? How do we know you're not going to pivot and do a U-turn like many portals have done? And I'm absolutely convinced it will do. Well, we can't, because the tech doesn't allow us to. Even if I wanted to, we can't do it.
Yeah,
but we need the support. I make no bones about it. Openbricks cannot survive if agents don't support it. So what we're urging is to say, look, give us a shout, join. There's no contract. If you don't like it after a couple of months, you can just unplug and you can leave. But support us, and let me prove to you guys that we can earn you the money. Certainly more than we're going to ask you to pay us. Yeah. I can do that with one tenant taking gas and electricity on one property, and you're done. You're done for the month. You're broken even. Anything else is a profit. So
talk us through the commercials, Adam. If you're an agent looking to come on board the platform, what does it look like to them?
If they want to join, we're going to be turning on the charges shortly. When I'm satisfied that the partnerships are on there to earn the agents the money, then we'll be asking the agent, say, look, we want to start charging now. It's £75 a month subscription fee. That gives you the ability to list your properties on the portal, gives you the facilities to start earning the revenue streams, and of course allows your consumers to get all the benefits. And then if they want to upgrade to the MLS, so we're not forcing the MLS on them, but if they want to join the MLS, they can join it for £55 a month. And again, use it couple of months. If it hasn't worked, unplug. Try it again later. But my job now is to get agents to on board, and that's really what we want to do now. So I'm urging agents now to register, and if they've got any questions at all, you can email us, contact me. I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me. I'm adam@openbricks.co.uk. Any questions? And indeed, look, David and Morris and even Murray. I've got to say Murray. These guys have been really, really helpful to us, because to get the feedback to say, actually, I don't think this looks good here. I'm not happy with this. And you go, okay, and we make the changes. We've made those changes. So if they've got any questions, by all means, contact David and Morris and Murray as well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We used to refer to them in my old days as high maintenance clients, and I don't mean that unkindly, because it's the likes of Morris and David who are, who push your product on. The ones who don't ever, I don't want to say don't ever complain or don't ever pipe up. They're not the ones that are going to take you into that exciting new place, are they? No. It's these guys here that are going to help on that front. I think, from my point of view, first of all, that seems a really fair. Potentially, you should probably put your prices up a little bit, but that's up to you. If you're able to deliver on those, those kind of referral fees there, it's a very simple equation, isn't it? It's the most trite sales tactic of all, isn't it? It's to say, oh, it's not a cost, it's an investment. But if it's entirely measurable in the way that this is, you've got nothing to complain about, have you?
And listen, I'll tell you where I want to go with this. We can't afford to do this now. We have stated we want to do it, and it's actually there in our registration page. But when we get the traction we need to a certain level, we're going to bring the subscription fee down, and I want to bring in slowly a pound of property, a pound an upload. That's really where we want to go with this, because if we get to say 40% of the market, that works for us. That absolutely works for us, and that's where I want to go, because that's the fairest way to do it. Trying to work out chimney pots and areas, and it's so non-transparent. It's muddy. You don't like it.
It's also a financial model even I can understand, which is at that level as well. So I don't need a calculator for that, which is quite effective. Well, look, I think as you said, you can reach out to them directly. Go to obviously the landing page there as well, and there's a lovely big pink, everything's pink, obviously, contact me button, and we obviously those go straight through to Adam and the team there. I think it's a case of put your money where your mouth is, or very little money, really, in terms of you've complained for years about the state of the portal market and the web, everything else. A company has come up, it needs your support, and I'd encourage everybody to get in touch with Adam and find out a little bit more. So Adam, I'd like to say thank you very much to yourself. David and Morris, fantastic to get in behind this, and wish you all the very best. And I suppose, actually, there's just one query here that I wanted to do. James mentioned the point he just said, which partners and products are actually available to customers on the site? I think we went through that afterwards, though, didn't we, we, Adam? And I think he can get in contact with you and get that full list, I'm assuming, off you anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll email it to you, actually, Simon. I'll email it to you.
That's brilliant. That's great. We'll post that up in all the normal places. Get that up. Guys, thank you very much. Lovely, enjoyable there. I will see you on Twitter in the coming hours, Morris, okay?
Speak to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.